The interwebs are buzzing with the release of Netflix's The Umbrella Academy. As of recording this, Netflix has not greenlit season 2, and that makes sense. After all, the series just dropped and folks have either been over the moon or displeased with how the adaptation turned out. Typically, Netflix lets a show percolate for a month or so prior to making renewal decisions. But I have a feeling this one has enough buzz to keep it and can make up for the Marvel void Netflix is going to have. For me, season 2 offers the chance, thanks to that time-traveling cliffhanger, to explore the characters more and dive into the Umbrella Academy Volume 2 Dallas. I'm Chris Carr. Let's talk about what to expect in season 2 of the Umbrella Academy. Today's video is brought to you by our awesome Patreons. Thanks to their support, we get to keep making crash courses, lore videos, and filling you in on dirt that ruins your childhood. If you'd like to help, head over to Patreon. Supporters get a look at behind-the-scenes work, scripts, upcoming projects, and more. You can also support us through YouTube by clicking the join button down below. Thanks, guys. If the Umbrella Academy is renewed, between the super-powered special effects, writing up the new season, and filming, we probably won't see the Hargreaves in action again until 2020. After all, Season 1 was first announced back in July of 2017, started filming in January of 2018, and premiered just this February. So, that being said, if you haven't watched the series yet, you've got tons of time to do it.
Listen up. Still some important things that we need to discuss, all right?
I'm about to talk about the finale and drop some major spoilers. Check out Season 1 before you watch this, okay? Also, we're gonna be hitting some speculation based off the comic, so if that's too spoilery for you, now's your chance to back out.
This is it. The apocalypse is still on. The world ends today.
When we last saw our band of misfits, they had attempted to stop their sister Vanya from launching the apocalypse. Obviously, that didn't pan out.
You see that big moon rock coming towards us?
That's not good.
So this is it, huh? So much for saving the world.
Now, this is different than Ba and Wei's comic. Volume 1 ended with the White Violin, aka Vanya, being shot in the head, an injury that she actually survives. Doing this stops the apocalypse. In the series, Allison shoots the gun off next to Vanya's head. Vanya passes out, but not before essentially laser blasting the moon. The team decides to travel back in time with Vanya in order to properly stop the apocalypse with her being involved.
But if she's the cause of the apocalypse, I mean, isn't that like taking the bomb with us?
The apocalypse will always happen, and Vanya will always be the cause, unless we take her with us and fix her.
We can speculate that one of the biggest thrusts of the second season will be the Hargreaves helping their adoptive sister learn how to better control her destructive powers and try to rewrite decades of familial isolation, resentment, and child abuse.
To go on a mission, Vanya, you have to have a power.
Now, this could make for some really interesting storytelling. Not only did the story diverge from what Allison did to Vanya, but Allison's relationship to Vanya. In the comics, Allison is filled with rage over Vanya slicing up her throat.
I heard a rumor.
Understandable. After she shoots but is unsuccessful in killing Vanya, Allison and Vanya take a long time to get chummy again. In the series, Allison immediately forgives Vanya. With the additional storyline of Allison having been forced by their father to make Vanya feel that she's not special, Allison believes that she's a big player in Vanya's turn towards darkness and rage.
You think you're just ordinary.
This should make for an interesting dynamic moving forward. We'll have Allison in Vanya's corner as the girls try to have the brothers, most notably Luther, forgive and accept their insanely powered, wrathful sister.
I can't do that. She hurt you.
We also don't know what's going to happen with Allison's powers thanks to this deviation. In the comics, Allison regains her rumor powers when Number 5's employers restore them upon hiring her to kill JFK in Dallas. She agrees to do so after the agency threatens to kill 5's biological mother, who is also possibly Luther's mother.
I'm still the leader of this family.
Well, last I checked, I'm 28 years older than you.
You know what your problem is?
Really hoping you'll tell me.
They're not just connected by their birth date, they're actual twins. Will they keep any of that? Will Spaceboy and 5 be related? Is the rumor gonna make a dude's head explode? We'll see.
Well, you two idiots have certainly screwed things up.
Speaking of the time agency, as we're working with a time travel heavy plot, it's only natural we'll continue to deal with the Temps, 5's former employers. In the series, it's implied that Number 5 was hired to kill JFK, but someone else fulfilled his contract. Comparatively, the Dallas miniseries saw him go rogue and attempt to save the president. So, will we touch the Dallas storyline at all? We've already covered the first 3 issues of that volume in season 1, so I'm interested to see if we'll see anything else from it, or if we'll be moving on to Hotel Oblivion territory. Regardless, the show has a lot of material to work with and adapt. Ba and Wei are continuing the series, with Wei saying, quote, "The goal for us is to stay ahead of the show, and since we're on series 3 of the comics, we're now ahead of the show. So that's a good thing. The idea with the comic is to go right from series 3, take a 3 to 4 month break, then go right into series 4. That is kind of our schedule to keep us on track. So there is a story there, and it's all planned out. So no Game of Thrones shenanigans here, y'all. The fellas are sticking with the timetable."
It's been a while.
3 days?
For you, maybe. But for me, it's been a lot longer since I've seen those adorable little shorts.
Aside from the plot points I just mentioned, a lot of season 2 will be determined by where in the timeline the team has jumped to. If all goes according to plan, they'll be moving to the past, but that's a lot of time to cover. Will they all go to Vietnam this time, as the fellas did in Volume 1? That could give us more time with Dave, but it also could create a paradox if Klaus is already there. Will they go all the way back to their academy days to retrain a young Vanya and get her off her meds? Maybe they just don't let Luther lock her up in a goddamn vault. There's an idea. There's even the possibility of them running into Hazel and Agnes, thanks to the commission doling out one of those handy-dandy time-traveling briefcases so they could go off and birdwatch in the time of their choosing. Be sure to give your theory in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on when the Hargreaves are.
Blimey, Inspector. Where have we wound up this time? The question isn't where, Constable, but when.
This is the best show I've ever seen in my entire life.
And what I'm most excited about is exploring the newfound power between Klaus and Ben.
Ow.
This was hands down my favorite change the show made from the comics. It seems that sobriety was the key to unlocking this connection, so will Klaus be able to stick with sobriety? Also, is this just a connection between Klaus and Ben, or can the fan-favorite Hargreave kiddo connect with other dead dudes and have them do his bidding? With the comic implying that the other 36 superpowered kiddos Hargreaves wasn't able to adopt or dead, could Klaus find a way to channel their powers as well?
God, it's him. Ben!
I'm wondering too if we'll ever learn how Ben died, since he's a much more present character in the show. While the comic simply states that he died, the show lets us know that he died tragically and brutally, so perhaps while the fellows are working on furthering their connection, we'll get some backstory. I anticipate we'll also be seeing more conversations with Sir Reginald. Will we learn about the important thing he had to tell Klaus? I can't tell if that was a build-up to Vanya having powers, or if he was going to tell Klaus something that would help him hone his talents.
Couldn't have picked up a phone.
Would you have answered? Now listen to me, number 4. What I'm about to say is of great import.
And while we're on Sir Reginald Hargreaves, are we going to learn more about him? We got a little taste of just how different Sir H was in the final episode. And for strangers to the comic, we learn in issue 1 that Reg is an alien, and then we never talk about it ever again. Also, the series does spend some time with the Hargreaves children being concerned about the whereabouts of their father's monocle. They'd never seen it without it, and it was important they find it.
Can you think of a single time that you saw Dad and he wasn't wearing that monocle? No.
I agree. In the comics, Hargreaves' codename is the Monocle, after all. I'm hoping in this next season, the show will give the monocle the powers it possesses in the comic. There, the monocle allows the person wearing it to see everything about a person. Powers, past trauma, you name it. Perhaps that's how Hargreaves immediately knew Leonard wasn't special.
I haven't quite figured out what my power is yet, but maybe with your help we can find out.
You have no power. You never will have power. Now, go home.
That's something I'd love to see explored more. And honestly, it'd be a waste not to use it. At the very least, it's a really handy device for giving backstory. Lastly, will Space Boy find love with his not sister?
Dancing in the moonlight, everybody's feeling warm and bright.
The show did a great job of setting up Luther for a big downward spiral, and I'm interested to see how this will affect his relationship with Allison. Furthermore, Will, like in the comics, number 1 step down from being the team leader. At the very least, we know Luther's gonna get morbidly obese. Look at that tubby gorilla man.
She started singing to herself. Monkey, monkey, monkey man.
I wonder how much of the budget goes to Tom Hopper's padding. What are all of you expecting from season 2? Any big theories? Well, go below and let me know. For more videos on comics, lore, and more, click to the left of my face. You can also stream us on Roku and Plex. Once again, a huge thank you to our Patreons, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video. See you, Space Cowboy.